Coach, in a short week like this, I know you don't have the time to do everything you would in terms of normal prep. What do you have to kind of let go on a week like this?
Yeah, I think in terms of film study, the coaches are gonna find a way to try and cram in and divvy up responsibility to make sure that the film is watched. I think the thing that you lose the most is the players' recovery, because typically they're off on Sunday and then Monday is a lighter practice and then they get back to banging on Tuesday, where we had practice this morning, we're already back in pads, and so it's a Wednesday type practice. And then yesterday you're right back on the field the day after, less than 24 hours, and it's a hour and a half type practice where you got full speed activity. So I think the biggest thing you lose is the guy's ability to recover, and they have to turn it around very, very quickly.
You have an update on your quarterback situation with Muskett and Calandria?
Yeah, Tony's day to day, and we'll keep evaluating him. And obviously, played a little bit longer. It happened, I think, on the second play, on the run play. It wasn't a design run. Snap was off a little bit to the right, and so the exchange wasn't on time. He did a good job of just following the running back. But that's when it happened. He played a couple more plays and then had to come out. So. He's being evaluated and progressing each day, but it'll be a day-to-day.
If it's Calandria, what's the challenge in preparing a rookie quarterback during a short week?
It's a challenge to prepare anybody in a short week, to be honest with you. But the biggest thing for AC is man, he's such a competitor. Like you can just see it in his body language. But you also have to be able to manage the game. And understand that the margin for error at this level is very, very thin, and you want to try and eliminate as many mistakes as you possibly can, because you might not be able to overcome them. Whereas in the past, maybe in high school, he was able to kind of get himself out of trouble, make a play, and if he had a mistake, then he was on a team that could kind of compensate. But at this level, man, you give away possessions, or you make the wrong read, and you don't convert in critical situations. Those could be the plays that impact the game the most.
Do you feel because it's a shorter week, you have to make that quarterback decision earlier, or because there's a comfortability because Muskett has played with the first team?
Right. Yeah. Muskett's played, and biggest thing is this late in the season. You've played a decent amount of ball, and you'll carry it up until game time. And I look back at Josh Rollins. Josh Rollins was a guy with his knee that had very limited practice, but was able to play. So some of the veteran guys, you don't want to make a living doing that, but there are some situations that you feel that you can take it up till game time to make that decision.
Some other guys were also hurt in that game. Hollins and Robinson. Any update on those?
Yeah. So Hollins looks good. Is moving around well. Cam is progressing. I'm hoping for him to be a game time decision as well. So we're optimistic about him potentially being ready to go. Ahern was a guy that was kind of in and out. I think he'll be fine. Sackett, looks like we're going to get Sackett back this week, so that's a big positive for us. And Noah Josie was banged up a little bit in the game, but he practiced today. Boley practiced today, so feel good about those guys. It's more Cam and Tony will be game time decisions.
When you struggle with injuries as much as you have this season, do you kind of reevaluate training at all, or do you try to look for anything, or is this unavoidable?
Yeah, so some of the things that we were experiencing early in the season, we asked questions about, but it's football. Now what you're seeing is just wear and tear on the body. I think the biggest thing that we're realizing is the importance of depth. So when you can play multiple guys, you limit the exposure. There's always going to be injuries in the game. And some of the major ones that we have, training, I don't believe prevents those. When you start having a lot of soft tissue, for us, it's just, wear and tear in the game. You look at Cam, it's like a bruise to the knee. I mean, you get hit on the knee. You really can't do much to train for that. The biggest thing is what I feel good about is how quickly we're able to get some of them back, which tells you that the training on the front end is paying off. And that's why you do so much and invest so much in strength and conditioning is not so much to prevent you from getting hurt, but is to help you bounce back and recover quicker.
And then eliminate for game bowl contention this week. So when you don't reach one of those season goals, but you still have more to play for? You know, what is the kind of the message to the team?
So biggest thing is, man, we're playing for pride. I got a group of seniors that we want to send out the right way. And as a competitor, you know, it doesn't matter. And it goes into competitive stamina. And my message for the guys, you know, post-practice today is, you know, we got to decide. Right, we got 3 games left, and we want to decide that, hey, going forward, this is what the standard is going to be. Even though we may not have accomplished our goals, at least we're changing the mindset and we're setting the standard for what's going to happen these next 3 weeks, and then going into the future.
Question about James Jackson. You guys went into the year with some questions at linebacker after losing Nick Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
How has James Jackson maybe filled that leadership role in the middle of your defense, and what can you say about the season he's had?
Yeah, it's been fun to watch. You know, he's a guy that waited his turn, and then next thing you know, we're asking him to, hey, move over because we got this talented freshman that we want you to help. And man, he took it in stride. He's been an ultimate team guy. Each week you see just the game starting to slow down a little bit for him. Really, really proud. He's in the comm school, so I mean, he's burning it at both ends. He's putting in a lot of work in both aspects, and really becoming a guy that his teammates respect and will follow his lead.
And on Louisville, their running back Jawan Jordan's having an outstanding season. How would you sum up his play and the challenges he presents to your defense?
Well, they got 3 of them, right? They're all 3 of them, and I tell you what, each one is different. And I tell you, they all do a good job of running to their strengths, and they can run all the different schemes that they ask them to do. But he's electric. He sees it. He finds the creases. He can get small when he needs to get small, and if you give him space, he's going to outrun you. So he's been fun to watch, you know, as you prepare, because you just have an appreciation and respect for the way that he plays.
You don't have a lot of depth at quarterback. Your number 3 guy came here as a walk-on, but you've put him in situations and he's looked pretty poised in that small body of work. What has impressed you about Grady?
Yeah.
And did it jump out at you last year?
So Grady had opportunities. So he chose to come to UVA over some scholarship opportunities other places, and so he was a guy that was being recruited. And you know, first thing that you like about him is his size. Man, he's a big, strong guy. And then what I've seen here lately is, you know, the game has slowed down, you know, a little bit for him. Early on, it was moving fast, but now you're starting to see that it's slowing down, and he's really embraced his role. And his role is going to increase, you know, now depending upon, you know, the situation with Tony and AC, and you're one play away. And in this day and age, at every position, man, you're one play away, and trying to find depth and keep depth is going to be, you know, something that's of the highest importance, and it's going to be a challenge as well to make sure that you have guys, because everybody wants to play, and when you can go different places and play, you know, right away, you're probably not going to find as many guys like Grady that are going to say, you know what, this is where I want to go. I'm going to be here for the long haul. I'm going to put in the work and persevere, and I'm proud of him. And he was our 12th man. We give out an award. He came in and not just handed the ball off, man. He looked poised, throwing the speed cut, and so, you know, that gives us just more confidence in him. And then he's been part of our quarterback sneak package. You know, he comes in, and those are big moments. You know, especially when you're coming off the sideline cold, and now you got to go up on the center and take a snap in a critical situation. Just shows the growth and the confidence that he has.
You talked a little about Louisville's run game on Saturday. Georgia Tech had 9 runs of 10 points or more than 3 of 30 yards or more. Do you see a theme when you look back on film?
We just didn't tackle well. You know, when you look back, we didn't tackle well. You know, I think about the 3rd and 7 when a quarterback goes for 30 plus for a touchdown. You know, we got one right there at the point of attack. It's got to come to balance, make the play, and then we got to unblock safety. That's, you know, got to be clean with his eyes. That's got to be there to clean it up. And the 3rd and 14, you know, we had several guys that were there. We just didn't look like ourselves, and we had been improving and tackling, and we just didn't get the ball carrier on the ground. So I anticipate that this week these guys are going to accept the challenge, and you're going to have to you know, put your pads on these running backs in this run game to get them on the ground. So the biggest thing was we had guys there, and we didn't make the tackle.
You guys have already beaten the top 10, top 15 team this year. Any confidence that gives you going into this one with this group, knowing that they've done it before?
Well, if there's any pressure that is arising or the guys have coming through their social media and text messages and whatnot, well, you've been here before, so it shouldn't be any pressure, right? Like you've done it before. It's something that you're capable of doing, so don't put any more added pressure on yourself. We just need to focus on the short week, making sure that we do everything we can from a preparation standpoint to get ready to go play our best game, and that's what we're chasing. We're chasing playing a complete game, but playing our best game, more importantly.
And then just back to the quarterback stuff, because of the depth issue you guys have had a little bit at quarterback this year, will you look to, during the offseason, add another quarterback, transfer portal or recruiting, or don't know yet?
Yeah, definitely plan to sign a quarterback in this coming class, and then we'll evaluate the situation at the end of the season. And biggest thing is you want to find, quality guys, the right guys that fit. But we definitely plan on signing us a quarterback, and depending upon the situation, it could change to two.
Malachi has had a lot of success on 50-50 balls. What happened on the first interception? Was that just kind of a fluky play at the end of it?
From where I saw it on tape, it looked like he mistimed his jump, and he jumped a little bit early, and so he was coming down as he was catching the ball, which created a situation where the DB could get involved in the play. And it's one of those deals that you got to secure the catch through the ground, and both of them have their hands on the ball, and the way they fell, the other guy came away with it. But what it looked like is he just mistimed his jump and didn't catch it at the highest point. And that's what you teach him, and that's what he was trying to do. It's tough when you're on that angle, you see that ball, and he mistimed it. But if he goes up and catches at the highest point, I think he shields himself from the defender, and he's able to snatch it out of the air. Oh, it's all good.
On Saturday, you guys struck first, which we've seen before. So how do you guys start to maintain that lead and build off of it?
Yeah, so I thought that we were driving, moving the ball, and we have the interception on the first drive. Then defense comes out 3 and out, playing complimentary football, good field position. Then we go down, and Tony goes out, and AC goes and scores, and then we get another stop, and now we're driving, and we just got to finish plays. So we're on the fringe of the red zone with an opportunity. We don't come up with the catch. Down in the red zone, we get beat on a play, which results in a sack, which is going to happen from time to time. And now we're out of field goal range, so we don't come away with points. And when I was challenging the guys is we got to have the mentality that, man, every drive is like the first drive. Every drive we're trying to go score. We cannot be complacent, and we got to stay focused and make the routine plays all the time and the impossible plays most of the time. And right there, I felt like if you come away with points, now you go up 10-3 or you go up 14-3. Right, it might be a little bit different ball game, and that's where we got to continue to grow. And I got to do a better job of preparing the guys and helping them, through those situations, so that, man, we can truly capitalize and have that instinct of, man, we're not letting up. We're trying to, completely take control of the game.
And then Monday is the anniversary of the shooting. Is there anything that you guys are planning to do that you're willing to share?
Yeah, the university and athletic department have, several things planned. It's going to be a tough week. And I imagine that guys are probably, having a little bit of anxiety now because people are starting to talk about it. And, it's hard to really put your finger on where they truly are because everybody grieves differently. But it's going to be an emotional day, and, I'm looking forward to it. At the same time, man, a little bit anxious because it's going to bring up a lot of emotions that we've been trying to, work through and move forward with. But I know there's a lot of things that are planned. The university has a couple things. I know there's a couple things through the athletic department, and it's not just for football. It's for the whole community. It's for the athletic department, all the student athletes, just to try and provide opportunity for us to be together. Nothing overly formal, just a space for us to be together.
Yeah, and you say people talk about it, and I'm a part of the problem, because I just have one more question, if I may ask. But as a coach, I mean, how do you handle everything that you have to do as a college football coach and then have this on your plate as well?
Yeah, the only answer I can give, and some people may say it's cliche, but faith. To be honest with you, I mean that's the only answer that I have, because just like any human being, I mean there's days, man, when you don't want to get out of bed, man. You feel the weight of the world on your shoulders, and that's not just college football coach. That's anybody, right? You're dealing with life. Life is hard. So it's faith what carries you, and then when you look in the eyes of the young men, right, it motivates you and encourages you, man, just to take one step forward, day after day, and focus on doing everything you possibly can to help them. And that's one of the challenges, but also one of the privileges of being called a coach, is because people look to you, and I lean on James 3:23, that talks about when you decide or choose to be a teacher, right, you understand that you're going to be held to a higher standard. And so I remind myself of that. And then I have 2 little boys and a wife, and when I look at them, I'm reminded of what they mean to me and how they look to me, and that inspires me to continue to just carry the load. And I'm not doing it by myself. I have an unbelievable staff. They've been rock solid. They've persevered. They've endured. They've rallied. They've cried together. So the real answer is faith. You just ask the good Lord to say, you know what, give me the strength to take it one day at a time, because you know what, I didn't choose this, but you chose me. And that's been a message to the team, is none of us chose, right? And we wouldn't choose. Like, if you knew that you were going to be a part of a situation like this, nobody would just say, sign me up. But the Lord works in mysterious ways, and he said, you know what, I'm choosing you guys, and I'm believing that there is going to be triumph in the end from the tragedy. And so I use that to motivate me, and I use the young people that I'm around every single day. And I know you didn't ask this, but I do have to take a moment to acknowledge all of them. The players, the student workers that work with us, man. They've been so inspiring to me, just to see how resilient they are every single day, especially when there's so many quote unquote easy outs, right? I could walk away, I could move on, I could say this is not my fight, this is not my problem, but they show up every single day. And they respond every single day, and that's been a blessing to me. That's one of the things that I'm grateful for and thankful for, is that I get to see them every single day and witness their resilience, and it inspires me just to do my part. And even though I'm the head coach, I'm just doing my part. But I got a ton of support that's helping hold me up when my arms might get a little tired.
Excuse me if somebody's asked this before, but Louisville's defense has only given up 3 points the last 2 weeks. Can you talk a little bit about what makes them special?
Yeah, it's so defensively, starting up front, they can play multiple fronts, so they can challenge you schematically, and then they can generate a ton of pressure on the quarterback by just rushing 4. Which allows them to play a lot of different coverages, so they can, play some cover 2 on the back end and rush and get pressure on the quarterback, and you think you're going to be able to run it, and then you can't run it versus their front 4, and then they roll in a second group, and the second group is just like the first group. So they're very deep on the defensive line, and their linebackers are athletic and very active. And then they have some experienced guys, juniors and seniors across the board on the back end that have really gelled well together, right? I know not all those guys were present last year when we played them, but they've done a great job of being able to take that group and get them to mesh together and to gel together. And you see that they're very well coordinated. They communicate very, very well. They're able to make adjustments to the formations, but the biggest thing that I see is they can stop the run with their 6-man box. They don't have to get an extra hat down there, and then they can rush the passer with 4 and create pressure, especially on early downs, which allows them to play a little bit more coverage, so where your quarterback has to, freeze a little bit with the ball because there's not as many open windows.
Sedarian has been a little banged up at
Yep.
times, and he's playing behind the most productive receiver in the ACC, but he has shown some flashes in games. Is he kind of been progressing behind the scenes to a point where when Malik leaves, you think he can kind of move into a high-profile role?
I was definitely seeing that progress, and then he gets banged up with the shoulder, was out for a little while, but I believe so. I think that there's still room to grow there, and we got to do a great job as coaches of kind of getting him to the point of having just the savvy of Malik. You got to remember Malik played 4 years, and now he's an older guy, but I see a lot of similarities, in the two. If he'll continue to work and continue to progress, I think he can get to a point to where he can be a very, very productive receiver for us.
One of their secondary guys was with you guys briefly in the spring. Why didn't it, I guess, work out with you guys, and what's impressed you about what he's done at Louisville?
To be honest with you, I wish I could tell you the answer to that. Like I don't know. It was one of those deals. Without getting into too much detail, I know, he was making the decision that he felt was best for he and his family. But, things were progressing well. He was going to be a starter at safety for us, coming out of spring, and things changed quickly. And I really don't know much more than that, to be honest with you. But seeing a lot of similarities to what I saw here. He's a talented guy, that smart young man, and you can see that he's helping them on the back end with the adjustments, because he's in a position where he may have to rock and roll in certain situations, and see him down there in the box, playing in some of their I call it exotic defensive structures. He's playing in the box for him, so you can tell that he's got a ton of experience, and so far it looks like it's been a good fit for him there.
You mentioned Louisville's depth. Where would you rate where you guys stand in terms of the people you play, in terms of depth, and how much has that kind of held things back for you?
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do there. That's how I would describe it. It's you're not always going to be comparing apples to apples and oranges to oranges, but we have work to do there at all positions across the board. And that's our plan. Is we're going to continue to recruit hard, and supplement where we need to and where we can in the transfer portal if opportunities present itself. But we got some young guys that we have to develop too, and I think that's probably the biggest opportunity there is we got some good young talent. We just gotta grow them up, and what I've noticed here's in particular these last couple of weeks is you especially on the D line, you just got more experience, more experienced guys, and so when they pull maybe their first team guy out, now they're running in another junior or another senior behind them that has experience, whereas we may be in a situation where when we sub guys, we're playing guys that are out there for the first time.